About a week ago, I interviewed Tyson Cornell, and I'll tell you who he is in just a minute. Yeah, Cornell. You're probably seeing this backwards, but that says Cornell, the university, not the person. And during our conversation, he sounded like a really busy guy. So I said, how many hours a week do you work? And he said, it's really not about that. He says, it's a lifestyle. That was an answer that I really love because it's indicative of a person who is doing professionally their passion, that they don't see it as work. It's something that they would rather spend their time doing that than anything else. And he does set time aside for his family, of course. But his point being that, it's just the way I live. He's up at 4 in the morning without an alarm clock. He's on the, basically walking down the streets of Los Angeles, sipping his coffee and thinking about the thoughts that are meaningful for that day. Now, Tyson Cornell is the founder and chief executive of Rare Bird Lit, as in literature, as in a book and music publishing company. So he had that to say. He also told me that he reads a lot of books naturally. And one of the things that I found interesting about his method of reading is that he says it forces you to concentrate. With reading, you can't really think or do anything else. It made me think a lot because I do a lot of audiobooks in the evening. I read all day for my job as a magazine editor, but there I am in the evening listening to audiobooks. I can do multiple things at a time. So when he was talking about being able to, or being required to focus on what you're reading, because when you have a book in your hand, whether it's an ebook or a physical book, you can't really divide your attention and get anything out of that book. So he had that to say, and then I listened to the New York Times Book Review, and who was on there? Steven Soderbergh, who read 80 books this past year. Steven Soderbergh, if you don't know him, he's the prolific movie director and a big-time reader, and read 80 books during the year. And his point was that reading, much like Tyson Cornell, I think, he said reading to him is meditation. You have to focus on it. You can't divide your attention. And that's what he looks at it as, is meditation, not strictly reading. Now, Tyson Cornell had a lot of interesting things to say during episode number 140 of the Novelist Spotlight podcast. I invite you to go ahead and join us there. It's on all the major podcast platforms. Tyson Cornell of Rare Bird Lit with me, talking for an hour and a half about everything under the sun regarding books, music, lifestyle, and so on.